What is up, guys? Nate here. I am posted up in Reebok headquarters. I thought I was going to be at the Boston Marathon Expo. I'm not. I'm here instead. So I want to make sure this is working. Let's see if anyone is jumping on and anything else. Hello, hello. Drop your comments in below. Let's sort of see how things are going. There we go. Hey guys, Nate here. What's up, Karen? How are you doing? Can you guys make sure, I just want to make sure the sound is good. I have a little janky sound thing right now. I just want to make sure that's good. Yo, what's up, David? How you doing? Guys, I'm in the very trendy new quarters, and yeah, fun. Craig's not here today. He is on a silent retreat of all things. I'm in Boston, so we're super stoked thing. Man, it's all coming in. So, if you've never been here before or you're new to the running experience, welcome. I'm Nate, hanging out every Thursday, and of course, there's a bunch of you guys here who know the deal. Go around. You know, this time we aren't around. Alok from India, what's going on? Sounds good from Las Vegas, Rivada, says Nisa. And you know, how we always like to start these things, guys, is to get a sense of where you're coming from and who you are. You can use the chat and let us know what's going on. So first of all, where are you guys chatting from? We got Karen, hello. We got Yassine from Turkey. David saying hello. What's up? Alok, how to run a long distance. I love it. Claudia says hello. Horatio McSherry says, hey Nate, sounded good all the way from Yorkshire. Wonderful. Not a Fatso says, please suggest post-running supplements. Miguel says hi from Fort Lauderdale. Dr. Hugorl, hello. Carlos, Janta. Sir, how to win every race. Give best tips. Hey, if I knew how to win every race, I don't know if I'd let you guys know. Maybe I keep that to myself. I'm kidding, I would always share. Beagle Dude says hello. Marvel says, greetings from Jamaica. How long after the abdominal surgery can I start running again? That is a good question, Marvel. We'll have to discuss that. Let me see. Gabriel says, how long does it take for an inexperienced runner to qualify for Boston? That's a great question, Gabriel. You know, I'm gonna have to hunt around for you this weekend because I have a lot of fun plans on making cool content. If you guys are just chiming in, let me know where you're coming in from, your name. Love to give you a little shout out. Michael Brandt says, hey, what's up? What's the coolest things at the expo? Michael, the expo hasn't started yet. It doesn't start until tomorrow. So I'm actually posted up at Reebok HQ, my old friends at Reebok headquarters, which is super fun, and getting a chance to talk to them. Let me see what these messages. So I'm going to tell you guys tomorrow the coolest things at the expo, but I'm excited for that. How do I dress for terrible weather, Daniel? That is a good question. I'm going to be out in it on Monday. It's going to be pretty gross out here, so I'm going to have to layer up. Karen says Salt Lake City, Utah. Fatty says London. Carlos, Madeira Island. Michael, SF baby, I love it. Ryan, Missouri. Manchester, UK, Cape Cod, Brazil, Minnesota. First time viewer from Spokane, Washington. So cool. John says, got my magic band for Disney Star Wars coming up. Vincent from Netherlands, Sweden. Hey, what's up, Andrew? How you doing? Forest of Dean Runner. Hello from Orange County. Man, these messages are flying in. Hello from Charlotte, North Carolina, 38. Wants to start running. Is there anything special I should do? There's always some special things you could do. Jeff says, welcome to the East Coast. I know, man. I feel like I'm always on the East Coast time, so I get up so darn early, but now it doesn't feel weird doing what I'm doing there. My wife does run, and no giveaway. Guys, I'm a little technology limited today, so I'm going to do the giveaway from last week, and I'm going to post that after the fact, but I couldn't get organized. I'm traveling. I got all my stuff in like this little bag right here, so that's gonna be the drill. I got my jacket and everything else. So let's get into the questions, because that's what you guys are here for. And let's get started with Miguel's question right here, because that was a good one just to start things off. Let's see here. So it says, can having too much cushioning for short runs be bad on the joints and back? So Miguel, there's something about the runs. I actually put this as a blog post that I wrote a little while back. It's called, "Are your super cushion shoes, are they killing you?" And you know what's interesting was that there are certain people who are measuring that we were grading greater levels of force production in a pair of Hokas than we weren't otherwise, because our body was basically finding for stability, and in those bigger cushion shoes we're striking the ground harder to find that stability. I do think that we benefit from a variety of different pairs of shoes all the time, and I know you guys like to fly the flag of your favorite band or your favorite shoe, and if you're that person who gets a shoe and then gets like 6 pairs of it, I know, because I was that person. You know, spread the love around. Like ideally, like you should have 3 to 4 different shoes that you're running in. Maybe something that is like really thin and super flexible for certain days to wear around. Maybe a shoe that is a little bit more cushioned and maximalist for those longer runs or recovery runs. And then maybe like a responsive tempo shoe, something that's a little bit lighter and faster so you get a good feel for things. Nate's going minimalist today. I know, I really am. You guys, I'm wearing my shoes here. This is what I've got going on for today. These are the Strike Travelers. I had 1 pair of shoes to bring on this trip. I brought my New Balances to run in as well, but I really dig these little slip-ons. They're kind of fun. No problem, my friend. How's the Achilles? You know, it's coming along. It's every once in a while I still get a little bit of gunk in there, but I've been working it out a lot. I've been doing a ton of Achilles and calf work, which has been a weak area of mine, I think, if I'm being honest with myself. So thank you for asking. That's been coming along pretty good. Let's see here. How to deal with shin splints. Don't leave YouTube just yet, but actually Kirk, our man, Coach Kirk, just put up a really great video on how to deal with shin splints on our Instagram channel, like literally today. I just watched it, it's bomb. He gives you like 3 or 4 different exercises to do. So after this, go check out the Instagram and pull that up. Horatio McSherry says, and guys, once again, you're coming in. This is an Ask Me Anything day. I'm flying solo. I've got no Craig. I've got no fancy equipment. There's not even gonna be a giveaway today. That's how low tech we're going. But afterwards, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to do the giveaway on my computer once I'm done from last week's, and I will announce the winners in the comments. So stay tuned for that. And then obviously reach out to the guys who won. Nate, my new runner, and seen lots of videos on calves, but hey, Andrew. I got my friend Andrew. He's got to come over in a second. But while running, tight tibialis anterior and peroneus longus, just really tight ankles. So tight tibialis anterior, if you guys don't know, is basically like some of the muscles in like the front of the shin. The anterior is always the front. And a lot of time when the calves are tight and the shins are tight, they're pulling back and forth. Andrew, can you guess what I'm doing right now? I got a little tea. I am live right now on my channel. So guys, come on over. This is one of my best buddies, Andrew Connor, and we are live streaming at Reebok HQ right now.
We are. See, I'm about to get promoted to the CEO.
He is. It's about to take over. Hey, this is a good question for Andrew. What's a good shoe for new runners?
Ooh.
What should we do?
Ooh.
Andrew's got the down low on the Reebok line. Yeah, while you're here, why don't you tell us like what is exciting in the Reebok sphere? Not to put you too much on the spot.
I feel like there's a shoe for all runners.
That's true.
So you need to consult an expert to see what your running style is. So if you're heel to toe or a minimalistic runner, we're gonna throw in some other brands there. So like for me, when I first started running, I got a Hoka because it felt really, really comfortable.
Yeah.
But I felt like that just ruined me in the long run because it just masked.
We were just talking about that, weren't we? We were just talking about the Hokas and how they're right now. Like I've kind of moved to a mental model of not just like it used to be like you got a pair of shoes you liked and you buy like 6 pairs of it.
Yeah.
And just like that would be your shoe. And now the idea is like, well, no, I want to run in probably like 3 or 4 different pairs of shoe each week, depending on what I'm trying to accomplish.
But also it depends where you're running.
That's true.
Because recently at the gym here, I don't know if you guys have seen, but we have like 20 true form runners.
I haven't seen it yet.
We have like 20 true form runners, and so like lately that's all I've been running on.
Oh, cool. So guys, a true form runner is this self-propelled treadmill that looks parabolic in shape. They're kind of cool if you ever get a chance to get on one. They're pretty badass.
Comparable if you go to the gym, get on a treadmill and jack it up to like 2,
Exactly.
I sound like a southern redneck there. Jack it up 2 incline.
Yeah,
it feels the same.
It does feel like you're running uphill on the treadmill.
I've almost forced myself not to run heel to toe by doing more incline running.
Yep, it does. I got you there.
So
I see you there.
For me, I'm not a typical runner. Or actually, I don't like running, but I like you.
But we did a Ragnar relay in Cape Cod a couple years ago.
Yes.
What shoes did you run in when you did that?
Ooh, I had the float rides.
The float rides.
I think they're sort of like in between. They're comparable to maybe like a boost type material if you're familiar with Adidas. A really light upper, so with the knit. But if you're just running straight, I think you want to go with the knit upper because there's no lateral movement in slider.
Yeah, I ran in the Reebok float rides for a while, and we did a bunch of partnered like videos with Reebok a little while ago. And yeah, I thought it was pretty cushy and responsive, which I liked. The lateral stability with the knit upper is hard. That's a hard balance. But for going straight.
And I've seen a lot of promotions. All the brands are getting into running. Under Armour has a running
Under
shoe.
Armour's got some new shoes.
So it's the balance between looking good and marketing material and actually functionalities.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you go, man.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
work out.
Go work out, and we will get a beer. Does that sound good?
A beer.
All right.
I love beer more than running.
He likes beer more than running, so all right, I'll go catch this guy later. Guys, it's super fun. I used to work with Reebok a little bit, and I'm coming back in, and it's like a little like high school reunion, getting to hang out with everyone. But back to your questions. Tone says, I hope my 2 friends who are going to run the Boston Marathon next, they have a very good run experience. Wink, wink. I hope so too. Gita came out, says, just signed up for the 10K in 8 weeks. One plan suggests short runs during the week and one long run at the weekend. Also, I'm doing a marathon after that. What is the main difference between the plans? So that's a good question. You know, it's very common in the running world where a lot of running plans have built around people's weekends and their availability to train. Most people have more availability to train on the weekends than they do on the weekdays, so it's very common to see a longer run happen on that time. And then, you know, there might be as many as, you'll see plans with as many as 5 or 6 run days and as few as, 3 to 4 run days with maybe other stuff in there. And one of the things that we favor in the training club and all our training programs is that, we have a day that we're really focusing on technique and form, and that's maybe just like an easier run where I'm just kind of building that aerobic base and working on mechanics. It's a really good time. I have a day that I'm working on some speed, or sometimes it's called a quality run. It could be hills, it could be a tempo run, or it could be a run on the track. And then finally, it'd be that long run. So I kind of have those main things. Now, more advanced runners, they're going to do a track run and a tempo run in the same week because they can handle that higher level of quality. They're going to do a long run, and then they're going to do another long to medium run throughout the week. So you kind of see that rhythm of the week all the way through. The 10K program, in certain respects, may not be that different from the marathon from a rhythm standpoint, but the workouts are going to be catered more towards the distance and the demands of those events. So if you do a 10K, you're going to start to build up some mileage. You're going to get used to that weekly training rhythm. Your long runs won't be as long, but you'll just kind of get used to running that. I think running in the 6 to 8 mile range is not unreasonable for a 10K, and getting to practice those things I think will be really good. So let's see here. Edward chimes in, hey Nate, what's the weather forecast for the Boston Marathon? Edward, it is not going to be warm, I tell you that. The weather is all over the place. So yesterday was cold, cold as balls when I came in, and cold as balls is a New England term that I really like and appreciate the saltiness of New Englanders. They don't really say that in California. They say things like hella, when we're out there. So I love bringing that back. It is going to be rainy and in the upper 50s. So in certain respects, I don't know how hard the rain is going to be or the wind, but from a temperature standpoint, I think it's going to be pretty good. But the day before is going to be 40 degrees and rainy. So it's going to be really, really nasty. Let's see here. Matt Cox says, what is your opinion on minimalist shoes for new runners versus experienced runners? I like that. With new runners, there's always an opportunity to establish really good habits from day one. If I've been working with a runner for a really long time, I need to unpack the stuff that they have ingrained that may not be positive, and then I have to give them the new stuff. Whereas if I work with my brand new runners, the first things I tell them, I can get them establishing those new habits from the beginning. And what I would say from a minimalist standpoint is that is a great shoe to do your short runs in and your cross training workouts. So if you are, walking around doing groceries, doing a pair of flats, something like that, I wear a pair of Vans or another type of shoe. Again, I pulled this up, but just something like this. It's really kind of squishy and just move around. And then if I'm strength training, I'll do in a similar shoe or I'll do it barefoot. And then for my longer runs, I will do those more supportive shoes. Ted says, hi from UK, love the run experience. Hey Ted, we love you too. Thank you so much. So, more questions coming in. You guys are great. Vincent says, to improve my 5K run, I do one time week slow, one by short, and one by long interval week. I began 2 months ago with 5 by 1K, and tomorrow I planned 3 by 2K. Is that a good idea to improve the long interval? I think that's great, Vincent. And one of the things you could do with the 5 by 1K and the 3 by 2K is you could practice your race pace for your 5K. And that actually would be a pretty hard workout, in all honesty. That would be pretty tough if you did that, but that would be really good. And it'll be scaled appropriately, because brand new runners, they're not mature enough to handle those higher intensities for long periods. So mentally it's going to get them suffering a little bit more, but as you gradually become a better runner, all of a sudden those higher intensity runs are going to be a challenge. They're gonna gas you. Let's see here. Man, you guys got such great questions coming in. I really love it. Karen asks, should I try to run barefoot a couple miles on an indoor track? So I don't know if I would go after a couple of miles initially, depending on how much you're running, Karen. But what I might say is a mile, even just a couple 100 meters back and forth from a proprioceptive standpoint is really good. You'll really build up foot strength, and then you can start to do a little bit more. But the idea of, say, finishing a workout and then spending some time running barefoot, I think is really, really good. Miguel says, I exercise fasted and can go long distances. Any advice on replacing electrolytes without taking in too much sugar? Will salt and water just work? Supplement recommendations. So that's great. There are a few brands out there that make an electrolyte with very little or no calories whatsoever. Nuun, N-U-U-N, does a good job with this. I know UCAN does a hydration, and Scratch. Scratch has some sugar in it, but it's not sugar designed to fuel you. It's actually designed to help you hydrate better. We actually need some glucose in the water to our body to osmotically absorb it. And if we just have water, there's nothing in it, it just goes right through. Marvel says, hey Nate, how long after an abdominal streak can I start running again? So when we're dealing with surgery, so first of all, I'm a doctor and I feel like I'm not playing one on the internet. So I wanna make sure that you're working with your PTs on this, working on basic strength and stability stuff, and we wanna follow some common sense here. I would say it depends on how invasive the surgery was, and why the surgery happened in the first place. So making sure that we are covering our bases in that respect. If it's something minor, not as invasive, I imagine we could probably turn this thing around in a couple weeks. If it was something a little bit major, it might be a little bit longer. But what that means is that running doesn't have to be an all or nothing thing, and that we can work on a lot of supportive stuff to help get you back. So working on basic stabilization, even squatting, lunging, pressing something over your head, and getting you working out will really get you your abdominals engaged and getting you strong. And then you could try this out with short run workouts that feature other movements in. So for example, you could do 5 rounds of a 200-meter run with 10 air squats and 10 push-ups. And all of a sudden you've got 50 squats, 50 push-ups, and there's gonna work with little run drills. And if the 200 doesn't feel bad, next time do 400 meters, and then you could build up from there. Hans says, I'm gonna get a little sip of tea here because you guys are firing these questions fast. Again, if you're just chiming in, I am live in Boston and answering your questions. Ask me anything, that's the drill today. I'm actually live at Reebok HQ visiting some old friends. They got a new cool location right in downtown Boston, not that far away from the Boston Marathon Expo, which I will be at all the next couple days. And guys, I'm very excited because I think on Saturday, I'm gonna get an opportunity to email Mr. Meb Keflezighi. So that is something that you guys should expect to see. Pretty cool. Let's see here, Hans says, I have slight IT band pain and a half marathon coming in 3 weeks. Do you think I should anyway? So it's super common in the weeks, I forgot to drink my tea. It's very common to be feeling a little beat up in the weeks leading up to your race. And just because you're pushing yourself to your limit, all this training that you've done is cumulatively catching up. A lot of times we are a little bit more tired, and when we're running fatigued, our mechanics aren't quite as good, so we get a little slop in the system. Double down on smashing your quads and rolling out your IT band and doing things like the couch stretch, and know that, you know, if you have 3 weeks left to go, and you've been training for a while, you're sitting on a mountain of fitness, so any one workout is not gonna make or break you. Or let me put it this way, any one workout is not gonna make you, but it could break you if you get a little bit too far behind. So making sure that you are really connected and together and honest with your mobility will be really good. Tony asks, are you running the marathon? I am not. I am getting to support all of our lovely runners, the Run Experience. We're hosting an event. Guys, if you are in the Boston area, meet me and Coach Holly on Saturday morning. I think it's at 10 a.m. is what I put it. And we are going to do a live warm-up together, some strength stuff. We're going to talk about the Boston Marathon course. We're going to run 1 or 2 mile little shakeout run, which will be fun, and hopefully get some coffee afterwards because it'll be kind of a cool day. So that's what we're doing on Saturday. And then the race day, guys, I'm going to be streaming live right from here on top of Heartbreak Hill. That's a really great place at mile 2021 when you start to see some action in the race. I'm going to start streaming right before the elites come through. So you'll be able to get to see that as well as a lot of the other runners, which should be really fun. Barbie says so much great info. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys. You guys are amazing. Hans, I think I got your question. I don't think I missed it. Maybe I'm scrolling up. I don't know which direction I'm going. Good. I did get it. There we go. Guys, the questions fly through fast for me, and I'm on my phone, so I don't always see them. And if I missed your question, just kind of post again, and I'll get to see it. I can't scroll too far. S Ramsey 150 says, I tried running on the treadmill, and it just beat me down, but when I run outside, I feel great. Did it mentally beat you down or physically beat you down? Because I know sometimes if you are used to running outside, running in can feel the worst. But I also know it works conversely. When people feel very comfortable running inside, running out is really, really hard. It's a big, big challenge. When we change our running environment and we do a big session, we're gonna feel it just because, he says physically, just because the mechanics of it are gonna feel a little bit different. It just kind of changes the gait pattern a little bit. So I would just be smart like everything and just ease into it a little bit more. It doesn't have to be this super aggressive run. And one of the things that I love to use the treadmill for is to do some different pacing work and some hill work. And one of my favorite protocols, I used to do this a lot, when I didn't have a lot of time, would be a Tabata treadmill workout where I'd get the treadmill up at like a 8 or 10% grade, and I would do 8 rounds of 20 seconds uphill sprints with a 10-second rest. And my goal, I worked up for this over time. I'm not in shape enough to do this now, but my goal was to start at 10 miles an hour at a 12% grade and work my way up to 12 miles an hour. So starting at a 6-minute mile and working to a 5-minute mile at that hill. I was totally gassed. I could barely fight to stay on the treadmill, but it was super fun. Marshall asks, best to use fuel provided by the race or bring your own? So that's a great question, Marshall. I would say that it depends on how you deal with the race day fueling and also the logistics of things. If it is a fuel you have a chance to practice to, so first of all, if you're going to use the race day course stuff, make sure you're practicing with it, or you've done some practicing with it so you know how it goes. And if you do that and it works well, great. If you're someone who's like, you know what, they're using a product that just does not jive with me, well, then you're going to have to carry stuff yourself, and then you're going to have to carry, it's going to have to be their backpack. That stuff the trail runners use, or something around your waist, or 1 or 2 handheld bottles, or a combination of the things. But no matter what you do, practice. I know that when people start running faster and they're a little more on the elite side, they don't like stuff on their body. I'm someone who coming from the triathlon world and trail running ultras, like I don't mind running with a pack, but I got to practice with that. So make sure that whatever you do, you practice, no surprises on race day. Tiger Spreadsheet Solutions, I love the name. Question 8, I'm looking to move from half marathons to the full marathon, your top tips. So we've got a few good videos on how to move up to the marathon. I think what's nice is that you're not rushing it. A lot of times with new runners, they want to go to the marathon really quickly, and they haven't spent enough time running yet. Like it's the marathon's legit. Like it's just because a lot of people have done it, like you guys know, like it can beat you down. Even on a lower mileage marathon program, you still have to run a lot. And then you have to have kind of the accumulated wisdom of a runner for dealing with the inevitable aches and pains, the highs and lows of training, knowing how to make adjustments on different things, being plugged in with your gear. And if you're learning that for a first time, it's a very steep learning curve when you're also handling a lot of high mileage stuff. So, easing in with the shorter races is a great way to get that good experience so that when you go up to the marathon, it's just a progression of what you've already done. So be smart, and of course, train with us, guys. Some of you guys are training club members, I know that. I would love to get more of you guys in the training club because we have some pretty great marathon programs and we would love to help you out. Is there a place to go watch the marathon online? So Brent, we are going to be streaming, Holly and I are going to be streaming live on our YouTube channel on Monday morning, right from the top of Heartbreak Hill. I would just go to baa.org and they'll have a lot of information on how to follow the race and everything else. But yeah, I think there's going to be a way to watch it live for sure. Pedro says, hi Nate, welcome to Boston. Thanks, my man. I'm doing 4x400 to improve mile time. First 2 weeks of 60 seconds and 30 seconds rest, I kept paced. Amazing. Today, 15-second intervals, my time increased. Last lap lasting 30 seconds more than the first. Should I move to 2x800 with 30-second intervals, or should I try week 3 again? So, I think if I'm following this correctly. Today you did 15-second rest intervals, I think, but my time increased. Last lap lasting 30 seconds more than the first. I would probably try to move on, just from the sake of it, try to move to the 2x8 with the 30 seconds. You're gonna get the accumulated thing, which will be really good. 60-second quarters is pretty fast. I mean, I'm not sure what your mile time you're trying to practice. If you're really trying to go for the 4-minute mile, then that's great. But remember, we're trying to practice our actual mile time today to get that ingrained pace. So, as you go on the longer ones, be a little conservative with the pacing there. Even in a marathon, it's not even in a mile, it's not pedal to the metal all the way. That we still have to pull back a little bit. And for all endurance sports guys, I was actually just reading this great book, Alex Hutchinson's Endure. It's really cool. Edward, I think you started reading it, but they kind of talked about even in a 100-meter race, Usain Bolt and most sprinters will hit peak speed at like 50 meters, 60 meters in, and then they actually start to slow down after that. And Usain Bolt looks like he's going so fast because he's slowing down less than everyone else. And that's kind of the adage with the marathon or any other endurance event. It's like, it's not who goes down the fastest, but it's who slows down the least. So I think that's kind of a cool thing to keep in mind when we're working on any of those things. It is a totally awesome book. Afternoon, Nate, are you ready? Rich, I am ready to hang out and enjoy Boston. I'm not running. I'm here to support you guys and give you guys the cool insider Boston Marathon experience. So I'm kind of doing my marathon, starting with a whole lot of filming these next few days right now. The weather is going to be a little rainy, but I think by Monday it'll actually be pretty nice. This Name is Creative says, I think you missed my question. That's a very good chance that I did. I've been improving a lot recently, but I've also been using a dog catapult to throw my dog over hills. Is that connected? I don't know what a dog catapult is, and I don't really know what that means, and I can't tell if that's a real question or not, if I'm being honest. If anyone knows what that is, please chime in. How many members are running Boston? Edward, do a little roll call and see how many people are racing, but I think it's going to be somewhere between 10 and 30, which I'm super stoked about. James says, completed my first ultra last week, 11th out of 350. That's great. Seems to have a knot in my calf. Any recommendations? Can still run on it, so no tear strain. James, you are going to be beat up after an ultra race for sure. We've done a few different calf videos on Instagram and YouTube, and of course we have them on our YouTube channel. But broomstick bashing is an awesome thing where I've got like a pole and I'm just kind of like digging into my calf. I kneel on my shins and I put either a lacrosse ball or something else behind. It's really, really, really good. I think that is sort of the way to go for sure. Yeah, keep working on them. Like light workouts and movement will be really, really good there. Let's see here. Oh, Edward says, reading Dean Castor's new book. She's around. I'm actually going to meet her tomorrow at the ASICS booth, which I'm super stoked about. So here we go. So Theo says, hi Nate, after watching your videos, you've motivated me to finally change my life around and use running as a way to lose weight. Would a couch to 5K be a good way to start? Totally. Dude, we actually have a beginner running program in the training club that would be perfect for you. We would really love to train with you and be your coaches for that. And it really meets you where you're at. It kind of brings you into more strength, kind of gives you some really strong, powerful run technique work in the beginning, and has a lot of approachable running workouts that are, as I said, kind of meeting you at your fitness level, but still challenging, right? They won't be easy. But they have like some walk breaks in there as well, so I think that will be really, really good. So dude, join us. Super, super cool if you could. Martin says, what's the best 10K running performance one can reach when starting running at one's 30-inch, or maybe like 30 years, no previous sport, healthy average guy, starts training like a pro? So I'll tell you a story of Mr. Jorge Maravilla, who's actually going to be running in the Boston this year, and he's a runner that I got some years ago in the Bay Area because he was working at a Starbucks and living on my friend's couch. And at the time, he was kind of an overweight, stressed out dude who was just getting into running to lose a little bit of weight. And I think his first marathon was 4 hours, something like that. Currently, he's 40 years old, and he's going to be trying to beat his PR marathon well, actually, it's not his full PR, but he ran a 2:24 marathon last year at Boston. His current record is a 2:21, and he's trying to train for the Olympics. That dude did not start running until he was probably 32 or 33 years old. And he trains like a pro. So you can get pretty far. And I think his 10K is in the low 30s for sure. I think he's like 31 or 32 minutes. He's an anomaly. Not everyone's like that, but pretty crazy, right? Yes, Edward, really, really fast. If you watch our Boston Marathon video last year, it's called Chasing Heartbreakers. The first couple minutes, the first shot is me running alongside Jorge as he's going up and over Heartbreak Hill, and he's trained with me in the gym for years. So he comes in, really great attitude. He does not look like he's 40, super fun guy. But anyway, super fun. Let's try to get him a little bit on camera. But that is an interesting, guy right there. Running Geek Girl says, hey guys, just coming in from a run. Heather, that is awesome. You are getting a little looky-loo of Boston or Reebok headquarters, actually not that far away from the Boston Marathon Expo. I've got the Boston skyline. Logan Airport is, right back over there. So pretty cool. James says, hey Nate, love the vids. Getting ready to run my 3rd marathon, and I got signed up to it. I got signed up late. I hear you there. Got any tips to get ready in time? I'm doing the Ogden, Utah full May 19th. So if I don't have a lot of time for a race, really what I'm trying to go for is a good experience so that I can turn around and continue to train because it's May. I have a friend who I met at the New York City Marathon last year when I was there. And he run a business, guy's name's Tyler, he's awesome, great friend. And he got into the New York City Marathon pretty late and went after with a friend. And I kind of told him, I was like, look man, take as many walk breaks, treat this like a catered long run with lots of breaks. You're not racing, you are participating and enjoying the distance. So start walking at mile 1 or 2, can bring in a lot of food, and just, you're gonna feel beat up no matter what because your body's not used to running this far, you haven't had the time to train for it, so just really enjoy it. So what he did was not that, and he raced against his friend super hard. He did this incredibly heroic effort and actually ran a really good time, which we can all applaud and we think is super cool, but here's the rub. He actually had to immediately be brought to the hospital, and he spent the next 2 days in the hospital with rhabdomyolysis getting his kidneys flushed. And rhabdomyolysis is something that was made infamous in the CrossFit world when people started doing really hard workouts they weren't ready for yet. So that's a real thing, guys. When we're training and doing these big events and we're not ready for it, we can get ourselves in trouble because we're mentally that strong. So don't do that. Do some long runs, keep it kind of chill. You can only push your body so far from where you currently are, and eat a lot, drink a lot, enjoy it, and then you'll use that as a springboard for the rest of your year. The danger is that if you push too hard right now, you could risk a lot, and then all of a sudden it kind of messes up your summer. So that's where we're at there. I'm gonna grab a little more tea, guys. We got a lot of great questions here. Scrolling up here, Theo says, thanks so much, I'll check it out. Is it on the site? Yes, if you go to therunexperience.com and you look at our training plans, you'll be able to see the training club and our different plans and be able to get in there for sure. He says, weather's terrible where I am. I've been given a treadmill. Would that be okay to start on? Absolutely okay to do on a treadmill. You can pretty much do any run you need to do on the treadmill inside wherever you're comfortable, because starting is where it's at. You guys know the drill there. I think that is super important. James, hopefully that was helpful. I didn't mean to go too ham on you. I just want to make sure this is fresh in my mind, having my friend who jumped into a marathon and risked something kind of big. And it's hey, let's not go there. Scrolling down, we got a few more questions. Horatio, saw a video where you said you were in Switzerland, Europe, and Cali, very different climate and surfaces. What did you notice the most? You know, I lived in Switzerland in college for a little while and got to do a lot of mountain running, which was really fun. And then I was recently back with my wife a couple years ago. We got to tour around. You know, it wasn't, I think maybe at time in the summer it was a little bit more humid, but we were up in the mountains, and honestly it didn't feel that different from California. I mean, they grow wine there. You know, we have wine, so it's like I felt like things were decently conducive in that respect. So I didn't actually feel that different there. Of course, in the winter, it does get colder and legitimately snowy, so that's going to be, you know, the biggest drill right there. IT band, what's the best thing in your opinion to sort out? So we got the short term and the long term anytime we deal with an issue. The first short term thing is we have to remove all points of inflammation. So if it's things that's bothering you, it's very reasonable to stop running and to stop doing other stuff like that. And to kind of go ham on your quads, the IT band, and your hamstrings. Specifically, a lot of times it's not the IT band itself that's the problem. It's that your quad or hamstring is adhered to the IT band. So you kind of have to like peel these layers apart to separate that. So a lot of work there almost on the daily. You're gonna find that in the meantime, you may be able to keep moving and will benefit from that. The impact of running might be really sore. So getting you on a bike or a rower just to flush the legs will be good, and some strength training will be good. Now the strength training dovetails in the longer term stuff you wanna do. With IT band pain, a lot of times it's really tied to instability in hips and my glutes not firing. So we need to do some exercises to kind of start the engines, get those going again. Quarter leg squats. I just put out in this week's weekly challenge, in the weekly running tune-up, single leg box squats are fantastic way to build strength around the hips, the glutes, the hamstrings. Perfect for dealing with IT band pain. And some quarter leg squats, single leg deadlifts, and building back up from there. So that would be my plan right there. Let's see here. Heather asks, how do you keep the trolls out of the chat feed? Or any of you guys so awesome you don't get trolls? You said anything. I know we got a little dog guy in there, but I'm not seeing too many. Hopefully not too bad. You know, we live our lives, we enjoy things. Everyone's welcome. What can you say? You guys can give him a little, you know, virtual elbow for me. That would be perfect. Stefan says, love your channel. And guys, if you are here, can I just take a moment and recognize that we have 80 of you guys watching from all over the world right now, talking about running every single week. I just love it. It's just so much fun. Let's hear. Stefan says, love your channel. I'm a brand new runner, 6 months and running 20 miles a week. I have a Garmin. Can you talk about heart rate zones versus feel specifically for new runners? So Stefan, you asked a great question. Not this last Monday, but the previous Monday, I talked about, for marathon training, how to establish a lactate threshold test. And it's a 30-minute test you do with your watch, and you set a baseline of either both your pace and your heart rate over that period of time. And I'm gonna be releasing a follow-up video. It's not gonna come out this week, it's gonna come out the next week, on how to establish those zones. So stay tuned for that. The reason why I say that is it's a little technical to explain here, but basically with this information, you wanna establish some sort of test and get a baseline from there, and then you're able to put that into training zones. You're training at different ratios, which is kind of the deal. Marshall asks, can we run through your coaches if we visit San Francisco? Yeah, dude, we would love to run with you guys in San Francisco. In fact, I host a free workout every Wednesday morning in the Presidio that you guys can come to. It's a little strength, it's a little bit of running. You'll get to meet Nora Dog, and hang out with us. So come down Wednesday mornings at 6:15. I think that would be the drill. Hi, Catch Me from South Florida. How you doing? Oh, Stefan says, I did the test. Perfect. Lactate threshold is 175. Okay. So this test that I'm using is something I used from the triathlon world. And it's something from some Joel Friel. So if you look up Joe Friel, who's an incredible endurance coach, he wrote something called the Triathlon Training Bible, and you look up like lactate threshold test, like a bunch of blog articles will show up, and it'll show you the percentages of that basic number that you have on what the different zones are, and there are even some zone calculators you can use to put that in there. Ozcon says, Coach once asked me, how do I earn my miles? Since then, I do physiotherapy every day. Thanks, Coach. I get to philosophy of it. It's been a great advice. Well, I'm so glad that you're tapping into the idea of earning your miles. That is super cool. That's big. She says, doing great, Coach. How's Nora Pup? Nora is good. I'm a little sad because I won't see Nora until Monday night or Tuesday, and but she's with my wife, going to work, hanging out, doing all the Nora Dog things. Exactly. Yeah. Heather says, love Joe Friel. Great info in the Tri book for sure. William says, awesome videos. What's your favorite running book? I'd be curious to know what your guys' favorite running books are. I think I have to say I really enjoyed Once a Runner, which is kind of a cool, like insider's runner book. It's written really well, and I think a lot of runners get excited and resonates with it. But I think that's a great one. I think it's by John Parker, if you guys get that one. I think that is good. And you know what? I think we went a little too crazy with the Born to Run book with Christopher McDougall, but that was such a fun story, and I think that was such a cool, inspiring thing, and it just got us thinking differently about our shoes and footwear and how we're supposed to move. Yeah, tell me, what are your favorite books? Write them down below. We'll get a little book club going. Heather says, Edward says, another plug, Fast After 50 by Joe Friel. Heather says, Run Like a Mother by Sarah Bowen, Shay, and Dimitri McDowell. How many of you guys have read Shalane Flanagan's new book, her cookbook? I just talked to someone who says she and her dad cook from it all the time, which is really good. Confessions of a Fat Marathoner. I have to check that out. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like the beard. Boston Bound by Elizabeth Clore. That's really cool. Martin asks, are you going to post this yet? Yeah, so there's a new thing that if you watch the recording of this, apparently the chat's going to be there so you can see it. But yeah, look him up, Jorge Maravilla, Maravilla, or just message me and I'll be able to connect you with him. Super nice guy. He's a great story. Loves to share that stuff. Oh man, guys, we're almost at the end. We have been going for a while. Super cool to do this. Again, I'm going to be doing the giveaway this week afterwards because I can only be on one internet device at a time. So I'm going to be doing that and posting in the comments after this is over, and then I'll be reaching out to who won. I won't be able to announce it online, so I'm really sorry about that. We'll catch up the week after. And I'm not able to get a giveaway going yet for next week. So maybe next week we'll have to do like a special doubleheader giveaway or something like that. I live in Portland, so of course I'm a huge fan of Shalane. I love that. She's actually originally from Marblehead, so she's a Massachusetts gal through and through. TG1 Sinon says, personally, what do you suggest before running a race, like food-wise? I suggest running and eating the things that you have really practiced going in. I really don't think our race day should be any different morning in terms of the timing of what and how we eat. So it's really important to be very mindful about how you do your long runs. And for example, like if you're kind of lazy and you just run out the door for your long runs and don't drink or eat anything or aren't very thoughtful, it's going to be a stressful thing come race day. But if you start thinking like 8 weeks out from your race, like, okay, I need to start practicing my fueling. I need to start practicing my pre-race breakfast. Like, what am I going to eat? When? What amounts? And then I have a nice system in place. In terms of good pre-race nutrition, our resident nutritionist extraordinaire, Elizabeth Inpine, has a ton of great videos exactly on that topic, and she will speak to that way more knowledgeably than me. Miguel says, love your videos. Thanks for all you do. All members, Please like the video. Thank you. It helps with YouTube analytics. It really does. Yeah, guys, give us a little thumbs up down below. That is super, super helpful. In addition to all your comments and questions, it really does help. We're super stoked with how we're growing on YouTube, and that is in no small thanks to you guys being here every week and participating. Gary says, hey, would you recommend running 2 marathons 4 to 5 weeks apart? That's not bad. You know, I've seen people run marathons and you know, it's enough time to basically recover from the marathon, relax a little bit, and then basically build back up again with maybe just a kind of 1 or 2 runs, like a 12 or 13 miler or 15 miler, and then you race. So if you were to go too long after that, you would, the buildup would have to be longer and a little bit harder, but 4 to 5 weeks isn't bad, but you're gonna have to recover. Like, that's gonna be your job, is recovery, and that week or 2 after, you're eating and drinking really well. I know a lot of times after a marathon, and I was guilty of this when I finished running my ultra race in the fall, of like, I just wanted to chill. Like, I didn't want to do any smart recovery stuff after the race. I did a little bit, but I wanted to just relax getting into the holidays. But if I have another marathon in 4 to 5 weeks, I need to stay in the marathon zone. I think that's really, really big. There's a double amputee Marine that's just completed 30 marathons in 30 days. Yeah, and you know what, Miguel, a couple years ago, Dean Karnassus did 50 marathons in 50 states in 50 days. But he paced it in a way where he just treated it like a long run. It wasn't like that race effort that's super, super crazy. Oh, hey, Aaron. Oh, thank you. I'm wearing my fancy collared shirt today. I don't get to wear collared shirts that often, so I enjoy it when I can. We're almost finishing here. David says, just kidding, of course. Nate and Craig are like peas and carrots. I know, right? How do you feel with your Achilles tendon? Thanks for asking. You guys were asking. It's coming along, guys. I've been consistent with my Achilles calf exercises and building that up and getting a little bit stronger. So we're super stoked with there. And then running, I've been running like 20 to 25 miles a week, which I'm really good with, and I'm super happy. David said, great shows. Who needs Craig? Because we all need a Craig, man. I miss that guy. And as fun as it is to talk for an hour straight, it is nice to have a co-host, because you know, you get a little rapport back and forth. As much as I you know, hassle him for always pulling me off topic, it is always kind of a fun thing. Ms. Jones says, such a pleasure. Thanks for what you do. So awesome. Thank you. Of course, I just love her. It's so inspirational, that's for sure, especially for my running. I think that's for Shalane. You guys are great. Let me see here. We got time for 1 or 2 more questions, guys, and then I'm going to be shutting it down. I had to get on with the rest of my day, and I'll tell you a little bit about what's going to be going on for me and what to expect out of this little Boston trip. Debakshaya says, I perform 20% better when running fasted and dehydrated first thing in the morning. Somehow I feel pretty good. 20-year-old male here, runs 7-8 miles a day. Do you think I should continue doing that? You know, I run fasted state in the morning as well. It depends on how many workouts you're doing and how dense your training is. A lot of times I can do that, but my recovery from that workout is going to be a little slower if I go into it a little bit more fueled and hydrated. I used to have a coach who used to tell me that your recovery for the workout you're about to do like starts with how you went into it. So it's not after the workout does your recovery start. It's like your recovery starts before the workout based on how hydrated and fed and fueled you are going into it. And that was in the context of being a triathlete. When I was doing multiple sessions a day, I would do like a swim and a bike on Saturday and sometimes a run, and then turn around and maybe do another swim and a you know, run the next day. So making sure how I fueled myself on Saturday really affected to how I performed on Sunday. So when you guys are in your peak training and you're doing more, I think that's really, really important to pay attention to. If you are just kind of, you know, not racing or training, but fitnessing, you're just sort of enjoying things, getting a few workouts in, you know, nothing over an hour at any specific time, I think that is absolutely fine. what do you pack with you when you are traveling and still want to stay active? I got my shoes, my kind of running kit that I'll wear. Sometimes if I will go to a gym, or I'll just do a bunch of bodyweight stuff, outside and have fun with it. But yeah, if I'm traveling and I want to work out, I got my shoes, I can run anywhere with those. That's kind of the main thing. So, I know, no shakes today. I've got a little afternoon tea. It's actually no coffee. I'm trying to cut back, guys. I'm trying to play the long game here. You guys are so good. So I want to finish things in here, and shut things down. I know we're not able to get to everyone's questions, but you guys are so great for being on here and asking so many things. So the next few days, this is what we got going on. I'm very excited about it. Tonight, I'm going to actually be going to an event hosted by Tracksmith. I'm going to get to meet some athletes and other people in the industry, which will be really fun. A little rubbing elbows with people in the space. Tomorrow, I'm going to do an interview with Jonathan Beverly, who wrote Your Best Stride. He called in a couple weeks ago on our call. Really great coach and author. He's just been around in the space for a long time. So we're going to put a longer form interview with him out in the next couple weeks, which will be really fun. Later in the day, I'm going to go visit Dina Castor and at the ASICS booth and talk to her, which I'm very excited. I've got a few other little things that are up in the air on Friday. Now, Saturday morning, I get to meet Jared Schumacher first thing. And Jared Schumacher is actually an Olympic level triathlete who I think is running the Boston Marathon. So kind of like Gwen Jorgensen, who's Shalane Flanagan's running partner right now. She's coming from a lot of success in Olympic level triathlon, which is like a 2 hour event for them. But now they're transitioning to just straight up running. So I'm gonna get to interview him Saturday morning. We're gonna do our event, 10 a.m. I'm so excited for any of you guys tuning in who are gonna watch and listen. We'll be super, super stoked for that, or to be there in person. And then afterwards, I'm gonna go over and hang out with my favorite buddy, Varun at UCAN, and hang out with some of their elites, including Mr. Meb Keflezgi, which I'll be able to do a little interview with him. Potentially I'll run into Dathan Ritzenheim as well. So pretty exciting, right? Of all this stuff. And Holly's gonna come in Friday night, so I won't be flying solo the whole time, which will be great. And then Monday we'll be out on the course. So we got a lot of stuff going on. And remember, a lot of you guys have these great questions. Literally punch your terms into our YouTube channel. We have so much stuff on calf pain, knee pain, how to mobilize something, a run drill, run workouts from the mile to the 5K, all the way up to marathon or ultra. We are able to put out so many videos because we have this really awesome thing that supports us all. It's called the Training Club. And that is our team of coaches and our programs that help get you better as a runner. And a bunch of you guys are already on the Training Club right now. We would love to have you get more. So go ahead and check out our page just to learn what that is and the different programs and what you can do with yourself. The YouTube is just the tip of the iceberg, believe it or not. We can go deeper. But anyway, have a good weekend. I will see you guys with Craig. He'll be all namaste'd out because he's just done his meditation retreat, which will be super fun. Back at TRE HQ. Everything's back to normal next week. I'll see you guys. Remember, I'm gonna sign off, but I'm gonna go ahead and then run the giveaway link and I'm gonna post in the comments so you guys can see that. And then of course, if you won last week's Esther, that little human thing, I'll email you and let you know. All right, guys, you are awesome. I'll catch you later. Internet high fives, the usual drill. Let's get out of here.